and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about my experience with WGU classes using the Mursion simulation. So some of you may be wondering what that is. Basically, it's where you have to go into a simulation through a app that you install on your computer or laptop, and you have to teach a simulated classroom. So they never really, I don't think that the kids I taught were real kids. I think it's just like animations that they like program to respond to questions and stuff like that, but like they can't move their hands, so like there are certain restraints that you can't like tell them, you know, hold up your hands to show this and that. But it's basically just you trying to teach a concept to a class that is a simulation, and then they respond to you. And yeah, so in order to start this, you have to set up a time for your simulation, and you have to do this by going in through your course, into your course material at WGU, and then you have to click like 5 million links, and then it finally gets you to like a page where you have to like set it up, and you set up your time that you want to do it on. And this took me a little bit to figure out like how to do it, because they kind of had it set up really weird. But like you had to go into like the top of the page and like setting up time, confirming your class and everything. Then after that's done, you have to download software. Now you need to make sure that your computer is compatible, because neither of my two computers were actually compatible, and I had to end up going with my sister's computer and downloading it on her computer in order to do my simulation. And I actually had to miss one of my simulations because it wouldn't work, so I had to set up a new time. That was just a bunch of mess. So just before you even set up your time, make sure that your computer is compatible with it. Once you actually download your software, you have to go into it, and you need to do this after you've set up a time, like an appointment time. So you go into the software that you've set up. It's like a little icon on your desktop or your laptop, and you click it. It has a big M on it, and you click it. You have to like, it takes you back to your browser, and you have to log in. Then you have to click back on it, and then you have to go through like this step, like confirming, yes, I can see myself, yes, I can hear myself, I agree to this. And then you actually have to download more stuff, which is the part my computer couldn't handle. You have to download course specific content. So it's like your specific classes, course, pupils, all that. So for me specifically, it was kind of hard to get it set up, and thankfully my course instructor was really sweet. She sent me a bunch of emails. I emailed her when I couldn't get it to work. She gave me some suggestions. I ended up changing over to my sister's MacBook Pro, and we were able to get it working out. But definitely have a good relationship with your course instructor for this class, because it's very important, because the software is so new and everything. But now that I've kind of given you like an overview of what it is, I filmed something the day I did it. I think it might have been like a couple seconds, but I'm gonna flash back real quick to that so you can have my first-hand experience. So I'm about to do my Mursion thing. It's like where you go in and have to like teach a digital classroom with a bunch of like animated kids. I'm kind of nervous, so we'll see how this goes. I start in like 15 minutes, and I'm just sitting here. I'm already ready. I was so nervous that I was gonna be late or something was wrong, that I was gonna be able to do it. But I tried doing this a couple days ago, and my computer software like wasn't enough to make it run, so I'm having to use my sister's computer. So before you do this, make sure you have the right kind of computer, because it's kind of important apparently. Wish me luck. That was really creepy. So as you can see, I was extremely nervous when I started, but once I actually got in there, it was okay. I was still pretty nervous, and like my administrator guy, who was also in animation, who was like talking me through it, was kind of creepy. But so here's my review of it. My overall review of it was creepy. I'm sorry, I don't care how technically how techy you are, it was just creepy. I mean, you literally had like, I would say something, and like the kids would raise their hand to answer, and they'd answer it perfectly. And then like I had one kid who she kept correcting me. I kept accidentally saying triangle instead of angle because I was so nervous. They just got messed up in my head, and she raised her hand. She goes, "Miss Brooklyn, why do you keep saying triangle?" And I was like, I felt personally attacked. She was like so sassy. I wasn't expecting that. So it was very creepy, like how like their faces move and everything. Once you actually get into the class, you'll understand what I'm saying, because you have to like watch a video beforehand that like shows you like an example of it. But like they're just creepy, like how their mouths move and like they talk and they like look around and they're like all staring at you. It's pretty creepy. I'll show you a picture real quick of what it actually looks like when they're looking at you. Here it is. Just in case anyone from school is watching, I didn't take a picture, it's just from online. See, it's creepy. Okay, so my second like review of it, like point-ish thing, would be that I was a little thrown off, I guess you'd say, because there were distractions in the class they didn't tell me about. My course was about incorporating students that had learning disabilities, and they told me ahead of time, oh, one of your kids is gonna have dyslexia, so you have to accommodate your lesson to her so that she can understand. I was like, okay, great, love that, can do that. What they didn't tell me is, and I don't know if this is for every class or like just my class specifically, I don't think I'm like, you know, spoiling one of their teaching tactics, but I'm just like letting you know that you need to be prepared for this if it happens to you. One of my kids kept falling asleep. I'm not talking like, you know, like one little, I like said his name when he woke up and then we like had our class. No, I'm talking like I had to like look over him 10 times, say his name, and he would like be asleep. And I was like, do I address it? I don't know. They didn't tell me how to address this. They didn't even tell me I would have to address this, so I'm not prepared for this. So be prepared. There are going to be some distractions that they don't tell you about. They want to see how you adapt in that moment, and yours could be like mine, just someone falling asleep, or it could be, I don't know, someone throwing a temper tantrum. Who knows? You never know, but be prepared for that. So that was a little, I was kind of like upset they didn't tell me about that, because that caught me off guard. And number 3 is kind of on the same thing about being caught off guard. Like my third like point in my review is they didn't tell me about like the educational background of the kids, which they told me what topic I was teaching on, and like they told me exactly what questions I needed to ask. But as I started asking them, my lesson that I had to teach them was over angles, and we start getting into it. They don't even know what geometry is. The avatars don't. I was like, what? They thought geometry was like geology or geography. Like they were like, oh yeah, it's about maps, it's about rocks, and I was like, no, like they didn't, like I was talking about squares and triangles, and they didn't know what squares and triangles really were. They didn't know like the corner of them was called angles, because you know, I had to like tell them what a right triangle was, and I was like, it's 90 degrees, and they were like, how can a triangle be that hot? And I was like, oh, so you really don't know anything about triangles, like angles. And I was like, it was just a little annoying that they didn't, I guess they wanted to see how I would adapt to that and like how like whatever, but just so you know, you need to have a lot of background information on the topic you're talking about, because they don't know anything, like anything. But once you like tell them about it and like teach them the topic, they like know it, like they retain it like that, like really fast. But getting them there is a lot harder than they make it seem in your course. So just go ahead and like spend that extra 30 minutes finding a brief definition of this subject that you're telling them about, and like some of your key terms, because apparently that's something you needed. I didn't know that, but now you do. So overall, it was cool. I mean, I got to teach, which I love, so that was fun. You know, technology, we love that. Technology is cool, but it was just creepy. I mean, yeah, especially like the guy who was like, because like they have like an avatar like walking you through it, and like I don't even know, is it a real person? If you know if that guy at the beginning or like advisor at the beginning is real, let me know down below, because they're like animated. Like his answers were like too real in my opinion. It was just like he asked me how I was doing, and I said I'm kind of nervous, and he goes, okay. And he was like, so are you like nervous? Like, is it a good nervous, a bad nervous, is it an anxious nervous, is it da-da-da? And he was like having a conversation with me, and it freaked me out more. So it's a cool program, but be warned, it's very creepy. So lastly, I wanted to give a couple tips, because it was so different than I thought I could offer some tips. So maybe before you go into it, you can watch this video and just be a little more prepared than I was. So my first tip is going to be over prepare. Like I said earlier, they don't know anything, or at least my kids didn't. So over prepare. They tell you that you have like a 30-minute time slot, but really you're gonna be talking for the first 5. They give you like 15 minutes in the classroom, and then if you're not done, which I didn't finish mine, if you're not done, they pull you out of it and take you back to the creepy guy at the beginning that I was talking about, and he like reviews it with you, which was just creepy. But either way, you need to over prepare, because I just had my main points, and I had to spend so much time catching up on stuff that I thought they would have already known that I wasn't able to touch on my other stuff. So make sure you prepare, have a good lesson plan laid out that you can get through fast, but that will also explain the background of it. So over prepare. If you're in it and you need to X stuff out, you can do that. But like, I didn't have enough material, I didn't feel like, to give them a correct background on the subject, so over prepare. My second tip is to practice. So whenever you get into the program, before you start it, it gives you like you get to see yourself on camera to see what the avatar is seeing. And this part was creepy too. But I did that, and then I went into it and I was doing like hand motions to like show them things, so they told me to do that in my lesson outline that they gave me. And one of the kids raised her hand and I was like, yes. And they were like, Miss Brooklyn, can you raise your hands up more? I can't see them. And apparently my hands weren't in frame, and like the avatars knew that, and they knew to tell me to raise my hands, and that made me uncomfortable. So to avoid that, make sure you practice in frame. Maybe just do your whole lesson so you can make sure the whole time they can see your hands, they can see your facial expressions. And if you're using any props, like I used a book to show them different angles like this and stuff. I was like, oh, look at this, it's the right angle, you know? But whatever, I did stuff like that. And so whenever you go into practice years, if you're doing anything like that, practice in front of your camera and have it set at the same angle that you'll have it set at for your lesson, so that you can make sure that you don't have to get interrupted by an avatar and be creeped out that they're really, really watching you. My third like little tip thingy is for your actual lesson, if it's not working, change it up. I realized halfway through my lesson that only like 2 of the kids are really interacting, and the child with dyslexia, she was doodling on her, she was like doodling, she wasn't listening to me, she wasn't paying attention. The one kid was falling asleep, the other one was looking out the window. So I was like, you know what, we're changing it up. And I had a second kind of visual aid available that was more interesting, more colorful, and I presented that and I was like, oh look, who likes this color that it is? And it had like really pretty designs on it. I was like, oh, and I spoke to the kid that the student that had dyslexia, and I was like, oh, what do you think of this? And she was like, oh, I really like it. So then I actually had her attention through the whole thing. Everyone else woke up and it was great. But if it's not working, don't be afraid to change it up, and be prepared to change it up because you'll have to eventually. So my fourth tip is to relax and have fun with it. Relax, don't let them see that you're nervous. If you're nervous, you're not gonna, you know, teach how you want to teach. It's gonna be all over the place, kind of like mine was. So just definitely practice, relax, have fun with it. You have to realize they're not grading you in this. Like, they don't even send the recording of it to your school because it's through like a separate company that does the actual simulation, but like you write a paper on it afterwards, which I already did. But it was really simple. I just like had to say how I felt it went and like what I would have done different. It was pretty simple. But they don't send the recording to your school. They give you the recording, and if you want to, you can send it to your instructor. You don't have to. So you're not being graded on it. So just relax. It's not that big a deal. It's just to give you the experience of being in class without having to go to an actual school. So it's pretty great, pretty creepy. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope everything made sense. I'm kind of all today, a little bit everywhere, have a lot going on, but I wanted to record this video so that if anyone else was kind of at the stage where I am in your classes at WGU, about to start these classes and go into them and had no idea what they were, looked them up all over, couldn't find any information on them, I wanted you to be able to have somewhere to learn a little bit more about them. So overall, it was a great experience. Can't believe, I'm pretty sure I have to do it for more classes, so it was really creepy. Like, I can't express that enough, like how creepy it was, but it's fine. You can get through it. I got through it. Just be better prepared than I am. But I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on all the content that will be coming soon. I am going to be changing my uploading schedule from every day to every other day or twice a week. I'm going to test it out the next little bit and see what works out. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.